Formatting data is also a very important practice that we must all comply when we are performing financial modeling. So of course, in actual practice, how to format the data, it can differ by each individual company or each individual analyst, but there are certain rules that we must comply, and let us explain a little bit about how to format your data quickly and efficiently. First of all, if you see the revenue part appear or this data set appear, some of you might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable because mainly because there is a comma missing that usually separates the 1,000th decimal point. Well, that especially when the numbers are long, like for example 1 million or 1 billion, 1 trillion, the commas really make it easier to understand the particular numbers. So what we want to do right now is we want to change these data sets, add a comma on the thousandth decimal point. And the key is to press, it is very simple, Control-Shift-1 would do the trick. Immediately, as soon as you press Control-Shift-1 simultaneously, there is a comma added to your dataset. And what it did was that as soon as we pressed the Control-Shift-1, the number format changed from general to number. And actually in Microsoft Excel, Control-Shift-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're each designated a special number format. For example, Control-Shift-2 would change it to a time format, Control-Shift-3 to a date format, Control-Shift-4 to a currency format, which we sometimes use, and Control-Shift-5 to a percentage format. And how you can memorize it is probably if you see your keyboard, for example, on the number 4, we have a dollar sign on your keyboard, and that leads to changing the number format to currency. That's how you can memorize it. But actually, when we're performing financial modeling, actually the most frequently used shortcuts are Control-Shift-1, Control-Shift-4, and Control-Shift-5. So to the number format, to the currency format, and then the percentage format. And for your information, some of you who are not using Microsoft Excel's English version, some of you who are using other languages, sometimes when you press Control-Shift-1, you might not see the decimal points. So in that case, don't worry, it's the language settings problem. There's nothing wrong with it, so no worries. However, for the people who are seeing the same decimal points as what I'm seeing right now, we want to decrease the decimal points. We, 2,000 is just 2,000. We don't want to see, 2,000.0. It's a meaningless 0.0, right? So we want to decrease our decimal points, and the key to it is to press Alt H9 one by one. Again, Alt H9. On the other hand, if you want to increase your decimal points, the shortcut is to press Alt H0. So Alt H9 would decrease, Alt H0 would increase. Just remember, what you're seeing on your left-hand side decreases the decimal points. What you're seeing on the right-hand side, the 0 key would increase the decimal points. In addition to that, for the margins, gross profit margins, and then the operating profit margins, these two margins must be displayed in percentage. So we want to select these data sets over here. Control Shift 5 would do the trick. Alt H0 would increase the decimal points. Once again, Control Shift 5, Alt H0. We can change our formats to our desired data format. And lastly, this really depends by each individual analyst or who's performing the financial modeling. But some people prefer to display these negative numbers inside a parenthesis. So that's each individual's preference. But if you want to change these display to put 1000 into a parenthesis, the key is to press Control 1, which would lead you to the format cells, and then you want to select this format for negative numbers. So you can see the display up here, and it shows how it's going to display your selection. So if you press OK, as soon as you press OK, now you can see that negative numbers are displayed inside a parentheses. Also for SG&A, let's Control 1. And also in this case, if you want to not use your mouse, you can do it by keyboard as well. Control 1, you're going to press the Tab key. Tab key once again. You can see a minor selection coming down. Tab key once again. Now this part is selected. Use your arrow keys to come down to what you want to select, and then press enter. So very simple. So actually what we're going to use in when we're doing financial modeling later on, it's very simple how to format your data. So what you want to memorize is Control Shift 1, changing the format to numbers, Control Shift 5, which changes the format to percentage, Alt H0 to increase your decimal points, Alt H9 to decrease your decimal points, and lastly Control 1, and then selecting your desired display for negative numbers.